One of the skills that I've learned as a parent is to recognize what thumps that come from the playroom are serious and what ones can be ignored. And I've learned that when there's a loud thump in the playroom and it's followed by some level of crying from a child, that might be serious, but I know it's really serious when there's a loud thump in the playroom and it's followed by some level of crying from a child, and I hear the other one say, "I am so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, don't go upstairs and tell mom and dad." That's the moment you know things have gotten real. It's that moment of the spontaneous apology that you know things maybe aren't what they should be. There are other moments when the spontaneous apology doesn't happen, and as a parent you go down and you say, "You need to apologize to your brother or sister," and the kid immediately says, "But it's their fault." Sometimes it's much easier to pass the buck on an apology than it is to say we're sorry. This morning, as we continue this series on the things that matter most, we're thinking about this phrase, "Please forgive me." Please forgive me. What a powerful thing to say to someone. Can you think of a time in your life where you've had to ask for forgiveness? Where you've had to go to someone and say, "Please forgive me"? It's not always easy. It's not a simple thing to do, but this phrase, when said with honesty and authenticity, when said in a way that we really mean it, it speaks volumes. And it can change our life. It can change the lives of those we encounter. It can restore and reconcile relationships. It can put the things back in place that need to be healed and fixed. It is a powerful thing to say to someone, "Please forgive me." It acknowledges our own sense of wrongdoing, our own brokenness, the hurt that we've often inflicted on the other. It humbles us to say, "I was wrong, and I need your forgiveness." It's a powerful thing to say. There are moments when we would rather not say it. There are moments when we would rather be like my kids and say, "But it's their fault. They're the ones who did this. They're the ones who put me in this place. They're the ones who are responsible." And we spend our life passing responsibility rather than owning it for ourselves. Those are the moments I often think we know deep down inside of us that we're not right, that we're not who we should be, and that even when we'd rather pass the buck, we know that we bear some responsibility. To say, "Please forgive me," allows us to experience freedom from guilt and shame, and allows us to live a fuller life. There's a reason that the fourth step in Celebrate Recovery and AA is this idea of examining and confessing our faults to God and to someone else, to realize that we have made mistakes and to confess those things so that we might experience freedom from those things. This ability to say, "I'm sorry," to say, "Please forgive me," is one of the foundational tenets of the Christian faith. We recognize that we all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory, that we all have made mistakes, that we all have harmed those around us, that we have not lived up to the standard that God has called us to. Our ability to ask for forgiveness, our ability to honestly and openly confess our sins is the only way that we find freedom. It's the only way that we find hope and healing. In the story that Brian read this morning, we see just an incredibly powerful image of forgiveness. This story of the prodigal son, this story that Jesus tells in Luke 15 as he's telling about things that were lost and found, and he kind of builds to this moment where he tells the story of a young man who decides he wants his inheritance. He's lived a pretty good life. His father has servants and slaves. It appears that his father is wealthy and rich. He has probably lived a pretty comfortable life, but he has decided that he wants something different. So he goes to his father and he says, "Give me what's rightfully mine." Now, this is not simply a youthful indiscretion. And this is not simply just a greedy demand. When he goes to his father and demands his inheritance, in many ways he's saying to his father, I wish you were dead. I wish you were dead, and I had what's coming to me when you die. This request for his inheritance in many ways is communicating to his father that the relationship is over, the bridges have been burnt, and he's ready to move on. I wonder how often we're the prodigal. Not that we'd ever say to someone, I wish that you're dead, but I wonder how often we fail to see the humanity of the other. I wonder how often we take away the dignity and inherent worth of the other. I wonder how long we've worked to subjugate other people and to say, you're not worth as much as I am. Father, forgive us for the times that we've taken dignity, for the times that we've treated the other as less, for the times that we have been the prodigal.